Hello, Gertens shoppers, and thank you so much for your Gertens permanent Christmas tree purchase. We're here today to help you assemble, fluff, and decorate your permanent Christmas tree. We know a lot of you are first-time permanent Christmas tree shoppers, or perhaps it's been a few years since you've had to purchase a permanent Christmas tree, and we want to make the install and assembly system really easy and simple for you. So today we're going to take you all the way through the entire setup of your permanent Christmas tree. And if you have further questions after viewing this video, please reach out to us by email. You can find that email right here on our website. We'll be happy to answer any additional questions. Let's get started. This is what your permanent Christmas tree is going to look like when you pick it up from our delivery and pickup area here at the store. It comes in a large cardboard box. It's going to have plastic straps and tape closing the Christmas tree. In addition, most of our permanent Christmas tree boxes will have easy to carry handles located on the top of the box. One thing that I want to point out about your permanent Christmas tree box is that it does have both the name and manufacturer of your Christmas tree in several places on the box. On the side of your box, you're going to have your sales slip, a copy of which you will be given when you purchase your permanent Christmas tree from our sales folks here on the sales floor. It will have the name of your sales clerk, the date that you purchased your tree, your name and phone number, as well as the size, the model, and the color lights of the Christmas tree which you purchased, and the manufacturer detail and sale price will also be located on your slip. Anytime you have any questions about your permanent Christmas tree, please email us with all of this information so that we can further assist you. In addition to the sales slip, most permanent Christmas trees will have the Christmas tree manufacturer, the manufacturing product number, and the description of your tree located right here on the box. Please make sure to save your permanent Christmas tree box year to year so that you have all of this information at hand anytime you have a question or warranty problem with your tree. All right, let's get to the fun part. Let's take a look at what your Christmas tree is going to look like when you get it home. The first thing you're going to want to do is take a heavy-duty scissors and take your straps off of your box. Make sure to throw your straps away. They are a slipping hazard, so you don't want to keep those around. We're going to put those to the side. Now we're going to go ahead and open the tape on the top of the box. So you're going to want to have your Christmas tree with the box facing up. Usually your handles are going to be facing to the ceiling. You're going to take a straight edge or a scissor, and you're going to go ahead and open the tape on your Christmas tree box. You may have to cut your tape a little bit more just to kind of get your, there we go. So inside, you're going to see a couple of things as you open your tree box here. We're going to see the tree itself, which is wrapped generally in bubble wrap. We're going to have some electrical. Now the electrical can either be in the box or taped to the side of the box. You're going to, in some cases, have installation instructions or building instructions. Not all trees will have that, but if you do have them, they're going to be here. And additional warranty information may also be in your box. So be on the lookout for all of those things. When you're ready to assemble your tree, you're going to start with the most important, the base structure of your tree stand. And here's our tree stand for this beautiful St. Croix tree. You can see that they do a really good job of keeping all the packaging together. And so I'm going to take my stand out. I'm going to open it all the way up. And when it's fully open, it's going to look like a big X. And you're going to remove your stand screws. There may be anywhere from 1 to 4 or even 5 stand screws for your permanent Christmas tree. I'm going to take my stand screws. There they are. There's 4 of them for this particular model tree. And again, it can be anywhere from 1 to 4, sometimes even 5, depending on the size of your Christmas tree. And I'm going to start by putting these screws right into the base of the stand here. I'm not going to screw them in very far because I do have to get the tree into the stand, but I don't want to lose them. So I'm going to put them right in the base, just a little bit, just so that they kind of get through the bottom there. Right there. Now this stand only has 3 screws at the bottom, and you can see at the top here where the tree goes in, I have 3 screw holes. but I have a fourth screw. So in this particular tree, I have this screw right here. And this screw, it doesn't actually hold the tree base in place. This screw is actually to hold the stand itself in place and to keep it from collapsing when you're moving your tree or your stand around. So I'm going to start by actually tightening this screw. And you can hand tighten. Don't feel like you have to get a wrench. A hand tighten on these screws is usually more than enough. You don't want to accidentally strip your screw threads or anything. So just a hand tighten is fine. And that's going to keep my stand from collapsing. So you can see it's not going anywhere. It's ready to receive the base of the tree. A 7.5 foot tree on average is going to have 3 sections. Some of the really big ones, really wide, they might have 4. But on average, 3 is pretty typical. So I'm going to go ahead, and one thing that I recommend everybody does when you're getting ready to build your tree for the first time, take a picture of the inside of your tree box with your phone. They have very tightly and very carefully put these sections. They're very condensed and they're layered kind of like a cake, back and forth, back and forth. So I have section A, this is my bottom section here on the top. Then I have section B, and I have the little tiny top, section C, very bottom of the box here. So I'm going to take my section out here. And this is section A, and I know that section A means this is the bottom of my tree. Now, as you can see, as I let this out, permanent Christmas trees, and this may be new for some of those folks who have maybe an older tree at home and aren't used to seeing these new trees. All of our permanent Christmas trees are on hinges. So each of the branches is attached to the trunk of the tree on a hinge, and it just lets down, as you see. When you take it out of the box, the tree is just going to pop, and it's just that little hinge is going to just kind of let down roughly where you want your branches to be. And now they'll be kind of caught up on each other here a little bit. We'll just kind of let them flop loose, kind of loosen them up here. I'm going to take the cap of my base off. And now here is another way, if you're not sure if you've got the bottom of your tree, the bottom of the tree is always going to have this pointy crimped base down here. So this is how I can tell that for sure I have the right section of the tree. This is definitely my bottom, and it's going to go right into my stand. Well, let's do that now. And we're going to just put it right in its stand. There we go, as easy as that. And there you see it, the hinges are popping down for me. Okay, we're going to make sure our electrical isn't stuck on anything, so it's not in our way when we go ahead and get ready to fluff our tree. Now it's ready for me to tighten those screws. So I'm going to go ahead, get under the tree, and I'm going to tighten the screws on the base down here. And you want to tighten these fairly evenly. So don't just tighten one and not the others. There we go. Okay. Righty-tighty, everybody. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So when you're doing your, make sure you're tightening it the right way. Okay, this feels pretty good. Looks good. We're not getting any rattling. This looks like it's a pretty solid base right in my Christmas tree. Okay, so now that we have the base firmly in the stand, it's not going to go anywhere, it's time to start what we call fluffing the tree. And the fluffing process is the way that you get the tree looking from going all smushed to showroom and decoration ready. So this is a really fun part. This is the part that's going to take you the longest each year to prep your tree. And expect on a 7.5 foot tree for it to take you about an hour to an hour and a half to fluff your Christmas tree, okay? So this isn't a fast process. You do want to take your time to really make it look beautiful. I do sometimes have folks who just put their tree up and they get it out of the box and say, well, this doesn't look like what I bought. And the reason is it's not fluffed yet. So you do have to fluff your Christmas tree. We're going to take you step by step on how to do that. We're not going to show you the entire process because nobody wants to sit and watch me fluff a tree for an hour and a half. So we're going to cut between sections here, but we're going to take you very in depth so that you can see exactly how to fluff a tree. I'm going to start at the top of my section and work around to the bottom of the tree. And what you want to do, you want to pick a branch, any branch, doesn't matter which one, kind of like a magic trick. And you're going to open up your little branches here, and you want them to mostly resemble, and you'll see that they're kind of in sections, right? So if you take a look, this first section of branches here, this is kind of a 4 section. My tiny branches in the middle. I've got my big branches to the side. Nothing is flat, nothing is pancaked. It's all kind of going up at a very dynamic angle. And it looks a little goofy now, but once we get it ready, it's going to look really nice. So you want to make sure that your PVC tips back here, this is your fill. This is nice and straight. You don't want them bent or crooked. Okay, so they want to be nice and straight and at a nice open angle to kind of mirror what an actual evergreen tree is going to be doing. So the idea is to kind of make it look a little bit more natural and also to cover up the back of your trunk so that you're not looking at the trunk of the tree. Now we're getting into the molded tip of this particular tree. And on the St. Croix, some of our trees, like this particular model, you can tell there's a very distinctive downside of the branch and upside of the branch. So this tree is actually modeled on a fir tree, and fir trees have a bottom and they have a top of their branch. So you want to make sure that the bottom of your branches are facing down, just like in nature, and that the top of the branches are facing up. Okay, so that's another thing. Not all of our trees are this way. Some of them are and some of them aren't. So you're going to want to take a look at your particular tree and see how is it an all the way and doesn't kind of matter which way it's facing, or is it a very specific, definitely has to be facing a particular way. Now you can tell with these molded tips, I don't have to do as much work. The tree kind of does it for me. It just kind of comes on out, makes this beautiful branching. All I've done is really just kind of open it up a little bit. And then I do have a side branch on this bottom branch. This is typical for our larger trees. You're going to have it's kind of closed initially. We're going to open it up. We're going to kind of straighten our branches out here. And that makes the tree wider. It gives you a little bit more branching so I can hang ornaments off of all of these tips here. And it's going to give me a lot more options when I'm decorating my tree, which is another really nice feature of this particular St. Croix. So now that I've done one branch, we're going to move on. We're going to do that same process on the next one. Through the magic of editing, you can see that we have completed the bottom section of our tree. I've gone ahead and plugged our lights in as well. One of the things that you want to do when you get your tree home and begin to build it is you want to check and make sure that your electrical system on your tree is working properly. If you have any problems with your electrical, please be sure to let us know right away. On the postcard that you were given during your sales process, it's going to have how to contact us with any tree problems right on the back side of that card. Feel free to email us and we'll get ready to help you out right away. So you can see on my beautiful St. Croix here, the lights are working beautifully on this bottom section. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead, and it's time now that we're fully fluffed to bring in our middle section, and we're going to go ahead, put it on the top of the tree here, and then we're also going to make sure that we are plugging our electrical in and checking that middle section as well to make sure it's also working properly. So I'm going to grab it out of my box here, and you can see here's section B. So sometimes the tree manufacturer will label your tree as section 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C. But in this case, it's a B, so B goes into A. So I'm going to grab my middle section out of my box. We're going to go ahead, we're going to take our cap off. So I've already done that. We're going to put it right in the middle of the tree here. Okay. There we go. And again, it's going to let down just like it did before. You can tell as you look at the top of the middle section of the tree, these branches are quite a bit shorter and there's less of the fill than there is on these long bottom sections. Okay, and that's totally normal. That's how your tree kind of progresses into that cone shape. I'm going to look here, and if the camera can come on over, you're going to see that we have harnessed electrical on this tree. Whatever you do, do not undo your zip ties and your tape, okay? That was done by your manufacturer for you to make your life easier. But so no matter what you do, don't undo any of this harnessing work here. You want to leave that alone every time you plug in your tree, and you're going to see on the case of, they're going to label it really well. So plug into section below to open receptacle near red plug in here tag, okay? I'm going to take off my little hang tag here. You can kind of see me work my cord in. Now we have to find that second harness. So So we're going to look for our second harnessing unit, and it's going to be somewhere around the trunk of the tree. It may not be on the same side of the tree as your other harnessing unit. There he is, hiding. And you can see again, I have a harnessing unit. I have it all taped and zip tied up right there. And here's where I'm going to plug that electrical cord in to connect the middle section to my bottom section. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my outlet. And you can spin your sections around before you really start fluffing your tree. They spin inside the tree just fine. So I'm going to spin it around to kind of match it up and bring that cord down here through the middle of the tree. You can see I'm kind of using the branches to kind of hide the electrical so I don't have to look at it all Christmas. And now we're going to plug this cord right in to our electrical here. Make sure you're matching. These are polarized plugs, so the big side goes into the big plug and the little side goes into the little plug, just like that. And now if we take the camera up, we'll see that the rest of our tree, our second section of our tree, is also lit now. So these lights look great. I don't see anything out. All of the sections look like they're on. Everything looks wonderful. And just like the last time, we're going to start with one branch. Wherever you start, just make it so that it's easy to kind of tell where your progress is going to go. And you can see already I have fewer sections to fluff here. So this is going to take me a little bit less time to fluff than my bottom section. Again, I'm going to make sure that on this St. Croix that my needles are facing the right direction. You can see this is the bottom, so I'm going to turn it around and face it up. Sometimes you have to kind of tweak it as you go. Okay, so that branch is ready. We're going to go ahead. We're going to go through and fluff the entire rest of the tree, and we'll be with you in another minute. As you can see, we have completely fluffed our second section, and now our tree is looking like a Christmas tree. With a proper fluff, not only does the tree have a lot of dynamic size and beauty throughout the entire width and length of the tree, you're also hiding your trunk. You're hiding a lot of your wiring, so it's less obvious. And it just makes the tree more beautiful. It gives you a lot of places to hang ornaments. You've got some great pockets on this tree. So this is why really, if you want a tree that looks like it does here on the showroom, you have to take that time, properly fluff your tree. Make sure, especially on trees like the St. Croix here, where you have a definite top and a bottom, that your needles are pointed the right way so that you have the right color play. You can see in this tree it has a beautiful silvery backing and a really nice kind of grassy green top. So the overall impression of the tree as you stand back is kind of this beautiful mix of silvery blue to green. It has a wonderful color play to it. The interior of the tree is a nice deep dark foresty green. So there's a lot of color dynamic on this tree. And just for a moment I'm going to turn it off so that you can kind of see the difference between the tree in natural light. And you can see it makes a big difference not having your lights on. So you want to be able to make sure you appreciate your tree both in natural light as well as at night with the lights on. We're going to finish off by fluffing our top of our tree. It's pretty obvious that this is the last part of my tree. You can see here's my harnessing again. And that's going to go on to that second section on the inside of the tree. We'll show you that in just a moment. I'm going to take that little hang tag off. We're going to take our little section tag off. With these small pieces, the top of your Christmas tree, especially with a 6.5 or a 7.5, it's going to be pretty petite. So I actually like to sit down and I like to fluff and do a lot of the initial fluffing kind of seated. So it's really easy to kind of do this while you're sitting. Just kind of pull everything more into position so you're not having to do it on a step stool. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our top into our tree. So here we go. It's going to go right in that middle. I'll let our camera woman kind of get the middle of the tree here. And that's where I'm going to put this section of the tree, right here into that little square. And there she goes. So now that I kind of know how she fits into the tree, I'm going to let down those branches some more. Here's my plug-in right here. We're going to take it to the middle of the tree. We're going to find our harness. Okay. We're going to plug it right in on the harness right there. Everything seems to be working great. That's wonderful. Before we do, I wanted to point out one other feature that we have with trees like this. Some trees will come with this little white box here, and this is actually a dimmer box. And you can plug your main electrical running from the bottom of your tree into your dimmer box. You can kind of control how bright or not your tree is using your dimmer box, which is a really nice feature for folks who might like a little bit softer lighting on their tree, a little bit gentler lighting, or maybe you just really want it at full tilt. This isn't a blinking system. This particular tree does not have a blinking feature, but you can control the amount of light you're putting through the LEDs with this dimmer box. Okay, here we go. Our tree is fully fluffed and ready to be decorated. I think I'm going to start with this beautiful buffalo plaid bow right here. I'm going to put it about a third of the way down to start with. Beautiful. Now I have enough room to put my angel or my star right on top, and I think I need about 20 bows, and this tree is ready to go. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please reach out if you have further questions about your permanent Christmas tree purchase, and have a wonderful holiday season.